Thank you for joining us for today's webinar, Website Optimization Tips. My name is Chelsea Bacoy, Senior Product Marketing Manager for Zoomerang Online Surveys and Polls. Today I come together with Lori Thomas to show you some easy website optimization tips. Business doesn't run the risk of losing visibility or sellability. Be sure to ask your questions through the Q&A panel, and if we don't get to will be answered in a follow-up Zoomerang blog post. And for Twitter followers out there, you can keep up with the buzz about today's presentation using hashtag EasySEO, shown at the bottom of the slides. Now let's hear a little bit more about our speaker, Lori Thomas. We at Zoom are so excited to partner with Lori Thomas, aka the Marketing Therapist, on today's webinar, part of our series of 4 webinars. Marketing strategist, educator, writer, web marketing expert, and speaker. She really does it all. She is the CEO of Web Marketing Therapy, a boutique web marketing agency and training company that diagnoses, prescribes, and guides healthy marketing solutions. With that, I'll hand it over to Lori. Welcome, Lori.
Thanks, Chelsea, and good morning and good afternoon to some of you on opposite coasts. It's great to hear and great to virtually be actually at Internet Retailer Conference in San Diego, California, and I'm working remote from my hotel room. You have to love the wild, wild web. So we're going to talk about easy website optimization tips. Most everyone has a website, whether it's an old website, a new website, something out there on the web. And what often happens is we start thinking about all these things we can do to promote our businesses. And what we have to think about is as we're driving traffic back to our website, are we really capturing people, not only getting people to our site, but also getting them through our website? And that's where the optimization process comes in. It's not about all the tools. It's all about how we use the tools strategically that makes online marketing matter. So the first thing we want to do is maximize messaging. It's going back to Marketing 101. I've been a professor of marketing and have books on the book on marketing and run a marketing agency, and I can't tell you how many folks will ask this question: who are you, what do you do, and whom do you serve? I ask those 3 questions to our web marketing therapy clients or to students or to conference attendees, and I have them all write it down, and I say, go back to your website, go back to your homepage, go to your about page, go to any of your collateral, and ask yourself and think critically, how well do you say who you are, what you do, whom you serve? That's Website Optimization 101. The homepage is the North Star of your web marketing. It's going to be where you make it or break it. And if you can think about, and I'm sure those of you listening and watching this webinar may be also on Facebook and toggling and Twittering at the same time, we're multitaskers. So if we don't spell out in a crystal clear way through our messaging,
Hi, this is Chelsea Bacoy again. I think we may have lost Lori. Just hang tight for just a moment and let me see if I can reconnect her. Just one second.
Chelsea, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Excellent, fabulous. So what I'll do is just kind of recap, and this is recorded, and if we need to go a tad over, I'll just make it succinct. Number one thing we can do for marketing optimization is maximize our messaging. Who are you? What do you do? Whom do you serve? Write this down. Step away from your computer. Put this on a piece of paper, and then back to the home page of your website, which is the main thing people see when we're trying to understand what an organization does, and ask yourself, is this message clear? The second piece of the puzzle is your value proposition. Why should someone support your organization? Whether you're for-profit, nonprofit, product or service or both, get the value, the heart of what you're doing, and write it out. And when you're writing out the first two bullets, what you're going to want to do is maximize messaging by going back to your website, especially the home page, the about page, even your services page, your product page, and ask how well you clearly define your value and just the simple who you are, what you do. And when you are looking at the purpose of your messaging, whether that's either you want people to call or learn more or read information. And Chelsea, I can actually hear, we may want to mute you, Chelsea, just because I can hear some noise in the background.
Just one moment.
You want to determine if you can, what do you want to have people do? Do you want people to read more? Do you want people to buy? Do you want people to download products? I always remind folks that we have to be very mindful that we have to date first with our online marketing before people get married. If people come to your homepage, they're not going to be like, oh, I'm here, let me buy right now. We may have to have a few visits and a few back and forth, exchanges before we actually solidify that. But there are important things to think about. So get clear on your purpose, get clear on your value, write it down, and go back and check and see how well you're doing there. And going back to the who you are, what you do, and whom you serve, I thought it would be helpful to clearly identify what that looks like. And this is Paul Foster, the business therapist. And his tagline is advice and support for business, health, and wealth. And that's a very clear tagline. So that's one way to employ messaging. And he's a business expert focusing on small businesses. And to go to thebusinesstherapist.com, it's a great resource. And his quote on the homepage is very clear, is what he does. He even tells his story. So the web architecture is very, very clear, but also the value proposition, who he is, what he does, whom he serves. He serves small businesses. He's a small business expert. He does advice and support. Crystal clear who, what, and whom. So best practices there. And Chelsea, I'm still hearing a lot of background noise. I don't know if there's other folks that we can mute in the background there. And then as we're looking at messaging, going through the value and the purpose, GoToMyPC has consistently over the years been one of my best favorite examples out there. Their value and their purpose is clear. Access your PC and Mac from anywhere. Okay, we got it. It's so dumbed down. It's so simple. And what do they want you to do? The purpose? They want you to either try it for free or buy it now. And they give you two options. Some folks are going to be like, I'm not ready to buy yet, but I'm ready to go on a few dates before I get married. And they've highlighted in orange the try it for free, which certainly helps out as far as showing people what you can what GoToMyPC wants you to do. But they also give choices, and that's important.
Hi, everyone. I think we may have lost Lori again. Just hold tight for one moment and let me see if I can reconnect her. Thank you.
I heard a good noise, so I'm going to keep chatting, Chelsea. I think that's a green light. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Let's just keep this going here. So for messaging, what I wanted to point out here was the quotes. GoToMyPC, instead of saying, we're so awesome, they're testimonial, which is someone else saying, they're so awesome. And that is a good credibility boost, and it's a way to effectively message the value of what you do, but it also has the quotes around it. So that's a great way. And just a creative idea as you're looking at ways to optimize your website, let other people tell your value proposition, collect testimonials. My web marketing optimization tip is to get in the story selling business. It's not just, communicating through images and graphics and having a website or having a blog or being on Facebook. It's telling our story, and our story can be how we got into business, what inspired us, or the people behind the organization, or the testimonials, which can be other people's experiences working with your product, service, nonprofit, for-profit. So get comfortable telling your story. My next website optimization tip is maximizing your About page. Inc. magazine did a great article talking about how the About page is the most valuable page. It's actually one of the most frequently visited pages on a website. And it just goes into telling your background, sharing your credentials, share the mission of the organization is another idea. Photos, pictures speak 1,000 words. Pictures of the business leaders, the team. It shows that there's real people behind a company. And from a consumer purchase psychological pattern, we don't buy things because we need them. We buy things because we want them. And we also want to get clear on our passion and our purpose. And that can come through the About page. So take a look at these 6 different steps, kind of clarify what that means to your organization, and then go back to your About page and optimize that accordingly. And it can also be shared on Facebook. This kind of work that you're doing isn't only just for your website. This can go on your blog. This can be on your Twitter profile. This is Whole Foods. Whole Foods is a brilliant example of best practices online marketing. And do you know why? Even though they're a huge corporation, they still talk to their consumers like they're real people. And with Whole Foods, you can see company overview, and they talk, we know we've always been a little bit out of the ordinary. That's how they start their About page or their info page on Facebook. Very conversational, very authentic, and it's a story. They're story selling, and that's what creates connections, and that's what pays the bills. Another web marketing optimization tip. Your website needs to serve your user first and a search engine second. There are a lot of search engine optimization firms that will talk a lot about keywords and phrases and putting those all over your website. And I agree, it's important because let's say you are a jeweler, but you're a jeweler in San Diego. Well, you want to make sure that you're not just talking about, my jewelry business, our jewelry services. You're talking about being a jeweler in San Diego. Using those phrases together to really help pull in the right customers is certainly important, but you want to make sure that you have a really good user experience as well. There is a lot of science to search optimization, but there's also art, and the more you can blend the two, the more you will maximize your market. So make sure that your website and your blog and all that stuff is really geared to serve. That's how we sell. We sell through service. And we serve our users first. You want to know what your customers want? Ask them. Surveys and polls are a great way to gather that information. And just starting a survey by saying, your opinion is very important to us. Thank you for being a loyal customer. Thank you for being on our email list. We are looking to better serve you. And you can ask questions like, if there's one thing we could do better on a site, what would it be? If there's one type of, or if there's a certain type of information you're looking for, what would that be? And what you can also do, in addition to surveys and polls, is go back to your analytics, Google Analytics, Omniture, whatever web technologies you're using. You can look at the keywords and phrases that are used. You can look at the pages that are viewed, and you can even look at the links or the various pages that are clicked. And that's going to help you understand how people currently use your website. I remember years ago working for an organization called RV.net, serving people going out there in their RVs out in the open road. And we found that there was something about Class A motorhomes, and Class A motorhomes was a link low down on the homepage. And we found out that was one of the most frequently clicked areas on the homepage. And it was like, well, duh, that's what our customers want. Let's move that up and better serve them. So doing a little bit of homework can make a big difference. And I still, I believe in the art of, mindful marketing and messaging, but I'm a geek at heart, and SEO, search engine optimization, is of course a critical piece of the puzzle. Most people still are to find product, services, or information through search engines, and through things like architecture, through content, through linking. Those are ways to the power of SEO back to work. So when we're looking at SEO, we want to make sure that these three things are in place. Just write these down: architecture, and linking. Doing SEO, the first thing with architecture is just the names of the pages. Some of you will have this built in through blog technology like WordPress. My website, webmarketingtherapy.com, is on WordPress, and it's built into the technology. Some of you may have simpler websites or shopping carts and things like that, but it's important if you're doing a blog post or a web page that isn't just yourname.com/about or yourcompanyname.com/services. Talk about what types of services you're doing. Talk about what types of products that are out there, so that the search engines can understand what each individual page is about, but also that the people currently searching for your products and services who may even know about you are getting pulled in. Architecture starts with the name of the page, which I have pointed out here, and also goes into the title tag, which is HTML code of your website. So those are things to think about as well. And content, you always hear the expression content is king, and when you are looking at a web page, even simple things like, in our case, my name is used frequently. That happens to be one of our search phrases. People do search for us as wild web women. That's kind of a term they're known for our geekiness. And so we use that language. We don't just say about. Here it says meet the wild web women of WMT. We make sure we have our names here, and the names are in text form. They're not in graphic form, so the search engines can read them better. So if there's important phrases like the expression I used earlier, if you're a jeweler and you're a jeweler in San Diego, don't just talk about our jewelry company, our jewelry services, our custom jewelry design services. Make sure you're weaving in San Diego in there as well, so that you're attracting people in the right geographic location. Or if you're an organization that has a specific product or service, like Zoomerang does online survey technology and online surveys, that's an important phrase to use and weave into the content. And putting search engine optimization to work, linking on and off the site. This is a website called Cast Covers, and they do cast covers to help make the healing process more fun and fashionable. And they did a great job of they have a beautiful website, and they have phrases like cast covers that are also linking to individual product pages. So simple things. Cast Covers has the world's largest selection of cast covers and blah, 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 blah. And the word cast covers is in, which is good for content, but it's also a link. And you hear about search optimization, you hear about linking. It's not just a matter of links to the site, pointing into your site. You guys can become your own SEO department by having links within the individual pages. And a web marketing optimization tip, first and foremost, get clear on what phrases are important to you. Just kind of like going back to the who you are, what you do, whom you serve, asking yourself those questions, and then optimizing your web marketing messaging. Same search engine optimization. What phrases are important for you to come up with? And some are going to ask, okay, well, how do I figure out what those phrases are? Me personally, I know that web marketing speaker is an important phrase for me to get searched and found on. So I do my meta tags, which is what you see here in the blue. This is code that I gave to my webmaster and asked them to make sure that my homepage, and saying LoriThomas.com, blah, 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 it says web marketing speaker and training, Lori Thomas, blah, blah, blah. Use that key phrase first and foremost before my company name to help the search engines know what my homepage was about. And when we talk about title tags and description tags and all things like that, this is how these tags appear to a real person in a search engine. So the search is for web marketing speaker. The title tag is what appears in blue. The description tag appears down below in black. And you'll see actually a little bit of bolding. The phrase web marketing speaker is bolded in the title and bolded in the description, which shows that a search engine is just doing mathematical calculations and trying to match the key phrases up to different architecture, content, and linking. So know a little bit of the science is going to help you master the art of SEO question I get asked is, okay, I know some of my phrases, but what other phrases are people searching on? There are great search word tool lookup tools. Some are free, some are paid. One of my favorite ones right now, go to Google, type whatever phrase you're looking for, and you go to the left-hand side, and you put your little eyeballs down below, and you look for something called Wonder Wheel. Wonder Wheel. Search on a phrase, whether it's jewelry San Diego or online survey services or whatever you're looking for, and go to Wonder Wheel and click this. And what it does is it creates this neat little graph with the phrase you originally searched for, and that gives you an artistic, and this is research-backed, phrases that the general public is searching for. And as we go through all of that, then it's a way for you to do your own key phrase research. Web marketing optimization tip: you link, you want to think, you want to recycle, and you want to think. So as you're putting all of this together, you've mastered your messaging. You know more about search engine optimization than the average person now, and you can put that to work. And then what you can also do is start to sync all of that together. This is the Live Gourmet blog, and they have a great blog about talking fresh eating and living. And their blog is their social media nucleus, and it links to Facebook, it links to Twitter, it links to YouTube, it links to LinkedIn, and it creates this connection with all the folks that are reading their blog. And so instead of people just reading the blog, they're being invited to connect with other folks as well. And marketing optimization tip is to use multiple web marketing channels to distribute content. It's not just having on-site content. There are other tools you can use like Squidoo, Google Knoll, KNOL is another opportunity. Here's a screenshot of Google Knoll, and you can post articles. Let's say you've written recipes or you've written tips on the 7 things to think about before you hire a blah, 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 whatever service industry you're in. Content could actually live on other websites to feed into your site. So think about your on-site marketing, but also don't be afraid to branch out as well to other vehicles. What I'd like to do now is just open the floor to Q&A, and feel free to go away.
Thanks, Lori. If you want to put up the next slide with all your contact information, then everyone will be able to get a hold of you as well.
I do invite anyone listening in to feel free to reach out to me if there's questions. And like Chelsea said, any questions that were posted during the webinar, we will be answering via email if we don't get to all of them today.
Perfect, Lori. The last one is just, can you repeat the websites that you just mentioned? One of those one was Knoll, and then
yes,
what are
Google Knoll, and the other one I'm a big fan of is Squidoo, Squidoo, and that was founded by Seth Godin, marketing genius, and it's just another content sharing tool.
Thank you. And next question is the who, whom, and what. That all be clear on the home page? Is that what you mean, or just somewhere on the site?
Every organization is different. Some really need to spell it out because they want to make sure they're attracting the most ideal clients. I think actually some of the organizations, at least kind of the who you are usually comes through in your name or your logo. Really whether you are a law firm, I don't know who you are, or you're a tax firm, that's who you are. What you do can be above and beyond tax filing. It could be tax filing. What I just added a value word in there. It's just trying to come up with a way to differentiate and really share the value. And then you serve, you look at Google. Google's not going to be like, we are a search engine, we are awesome, we serve the entire world. It's kind of like, duh, that's, Amazon's the same example. But for those of us that are trying to attract ideal clients, and at least are trying to differentiate ourselves, because let's face it, we're not the only ones that do what we do, it's valuable to make it very clear to have those in there. And for some people, it's like, look, we serve small, large, and medium-sized organizations, so you don't necessarily need to spell that out. But going through that exercise is going to definitely help communicate the clarity and the value, and it's just a checks and balances practice to go back. And it's surprising. I'd say probably 85% of the folks that we advise don't say as clearly as they can what they do, or they say it, but there's ways like testimonials and things above and beyond they can do.
Great. And given the number of search engines out there, are there specific ones that you should focus on, like just focus on Google, Yahoo, or do most of your tips carry across the different search engines?
Tips carry across all the search engines. In my book, the 36-hour course to online marketing, there's a whole chapter dedicated to search optimization. And yes, my approach, and I've been in this industry since '99, which makes me feel old, but it has worked over the years. It's a healthy, sustainable approach to SEO. Yes, all engines. Google has the lion's share of searches, so most of the folks I advise or teach definitely are more concerned about Google, just because that could be over 60% of where their traffic comes from. But search engines all have the desire to produce relevant search engine results pages. So yeah, if you practice the best practices, you should be key to all three.
And this question is related to images and video on websites. Should you be concerned about optimizing those as well?
Yes, you always build a website for your end user first and a search engine second. So I wouldn't say move images to help the search engines recite better. But what you can do, two simple tips. One, when you upload that image to your website, if the image is image.12345.jpg, check that image. Like if the image is a picture of the CEO doing legal counsel, it may be law-firm-Atlanta JPEG. If that's more descriptive and you're trying to come up on the key phrase law firm Atlanta. So I would, number one, name your photo with something strategic. When I say dash, I encourage you to put dashes in the photo names, because as searchers, we tend to search with spaces, and a dash creates that natural space. The second thing I would do is create what is called an alt tag, ALTTAG. An alt tag can, usually it's the webmaster who does it, so you just ask your webmaster to do it for you unless you are your own webmaster, and that alt tag will also help tell the search engine what that photo is. But yeah, photos are fabulous, and just search can be maximized.
Great. And do you have any tips in terms of structuring your site, so the navigation? Should you include a lot of lower-level pages or stick more to high-level categories? What are your recommendations?
Years ago, I was so obsessed with trying to optimize an entire website in a matter of days, because that was the perfectionist in me. And actually, I learned over the years that search actually, need the time to reread pages and index things. So it's actually a big relief to organizations that we don't have to do all the pages at once. I advise start with the high-level pages first. Start with the main navigation, the ones that are like super, super important. And say you're an organization that has about, home, press, contact, those high level, it's really important to get more visibility on a certain specific service. Well, then focus on that page first. But I would prioritize any optimization towards the pages that count, and eventually do them all, but don't feel like you have to do them all in one sitting. You can, I have clients where we do one a month because they have a tiny budget and that's all they can do. And it's worth it. We're still getting the work done, but we're doing it in a way that's sensible for everybody.
And the next question comes in, can you please explain affiliate programs and how they can help with optimization?
Affiliate programs are a revenue share between advertiser and either a website owner or an email list provider, someone who's essentially going to promote your products and services, and they only get paid if they generate some sort of action, whether it's a download, an email sign up, a sale, whatever the advertiser designates. I find affiliate programs, they help generate actions, but I've actually seen, from a search optimization perspective, I've actually seen some affiliates who are so much better at search optimization that they're actually outranking the small businesses that have the affiliate programs, which is actually funny, but not funny to the small business owner that's like, I'm the associate and my affiliate's doing a better job at SEO. So affiliate programs help with generation or sales or, helping with your conversions, as affiliate programs are truly managed well, and that's a whole other webinar all in itself. But as far as how they help optimization, there's no secret sauce to having more affiliates. There's theory that some of them will link more to your site, which creates more links, which could be good. But all in all, I would just think of them as an online acquisition partner.
And we're going to try and squeeze in one more question before we wrap up for today. The question is, it sounds like meta tags in pages are less important than having the content in the text.
Actually, it's important to do both. You know what? Here's the benchmark: architecture, content, linking. Meta tagging falls under architecture, and the architecture is the page name, whether it's companyname.com / whatever, tax - relief - company or something like that. That's one way to architecture, but architecture also does fall into meta tagging. And the beauty of architecture, content, and linking as a 3-step approach is that you can do it. And actually, in a former life, I was in retail, and there's an expression called matchy-matchy, like if your printed top matches your printed pants. And think about SEO from that same matchy-matchy perspective. If you have key phrases in your URL, possibly in your title or your description or both, and reinforced again in the content, you're giving search engines more mathematical likelihood on how to find your page or pages effectively. So when you're doing them, I'd say, approach all of them, and if you can, work your mags and your content a little more in unison, or even go to your content on the page. That's going to help you write your meta tags. The two tend to go hand in hand. I wouldn't say one or the other. All of them need help. You're going to optimize what you can based on your time.
Thank you so much, Lori. And I will be keeping the chat session open for anyone who still has questions. You can feel free to enter your questions, and we will group those together and have Lori answer those and follow up with a Zoomerang blog post